right, so I'm here at Reservoir Coffee with Krishna. We tried to meet up last week at a Starbucks, but I think it was destiny since we never end up meeting that we had to actually meet at a real locally owned business. So here we are. We finished our coffees. We've been chatting for about 45 minutes now before we even pressed record. Krishna, go ahead and introduce yourself. Where will Kamloops know you from, and how can they learn more about you?
Well, I moved to Kamloops back in 2008 and started ROI Media Works in 2010. It's been 8 years and had a significant growth in the company. And I always participate in a lot of community events and nonprofit boards. I believe in giving back, and most people recognize me at different events. And some people actually tired of seeing me on such an occasions. Krishna, you're everywhere. How do you find time to do these things? But this is what wakes me up and run after those goals. My purpose is helping children that are underprivileged, experiencing war, sex trafficking, and poverty. I want to give back to them. I want to fund other nonprofits, or I started my own nonprofit organization, Hope for 1 Million Kids Foundation. But again, these are all the small things. But unless I participate within the community and make a difference at a small scale, I won't learn. And this is where I learn a lot of these things.
Yeah, absolutely. And, part of what I want this podcast to be is to give back to the community as well. So seeing what you've been doing and the success that you've done since you've come here in Kamloops in 2008, so really not that long, barely 12 years or so, it's quite inspiring.
8 years.
8 years. See, I'm not into math, but
that's okay.
It's you've also been one of my biggest supporters from the very get-go. You reached out, I think, before I even launched a podcast. I think we were chatting on Instagram, so it's nice to finally meet face-to-face. And, through our conversation preamble, you mentioned that your focus is giving back, and that you really want to see some local entrepreneurs. And I really want to focus on entrepreneurship and how, social entrepreneurship is kind of your background. What is a social entrepreneur to you? To me, it's someone whose business contributes to not just the community but also to themselves and creates that sustainable divide. But what does it mean to you?
For me, any business can be a social entrepreneurship. Like, they should have been structured in that way. But there is a traditional way of doing business. Okay, you build a business, you get clients, you pay taxes, and the business owner makes money. That's where it ends. A lot of them change over the time and they start giving back, but it can be done at much bigger level. And money pays the bills, but does it bring the happiness? This is where it all starts. So for every client that walk into the doors of ROI Media Works, the first thing we look at is, can we really make a difference in the client's business? What can we offer them? And then look at, they have employees, they have to pay their bills. So you're supporting not just the client, but the whole business and infrastructure indirectly. You become a partner of their own team. And when you hear stories, we are growing, we are adding more team members, and we participate with United Way fundraiser. It all comes back. And the more you do these kind of things, I have seen it happening much bigger level. Like, we participate with Royal Inland Hospital Foundation Radiothon. We did pro bono social media campaigns for them. We work with Kamloops Chamber of Commerce, like in Contra, helping them with getting the message out. These are all soul-filling things. It just gets us excited and do more. For example, Boogie the Bridge. Perfect example. We did their entire website for free. All we just covered is the basic hosting costs that needed to be, right? And when we launched the website, we got a ton of good feedback from people. This is good-looking website. We finally had a proper website to make the bookings, and it's structured well. It's getting the information to the people. The clock is working, right? Those things, they come back. It's just not the money. It's just about what is that you're doing that's making a difference in clients' business and the employees that are working there.
Yeah, and as someone who has a part in hiring people in a growing business here in town, it's incredibly rewarding every time you do hire someone, because you know that you're contributing to their family's success. And I would have never made it this far without having a boss who truly did care, and helped me out when I needed help. And I think that's incredibly important when you do work for these local companies or partner with local companies or partner local charities, is you are giving back, and maybe it's not straight up a dollar value. Sometimes it's just covering someone when they really need it.
Yeah, this is what somebody told me. Back in 2010, I used to have a belief, I want to be rich so I can give back money to the community or various projects. And this is my mentor, and he told me, Krishna, you don't have to save money to give. You have time, which is right on your side. You can start volunteering slowly, and if you have extra money, yes, start giving back. And then I started slowly, and I started enjoying, and I realized I don't have to be 55, 60-year-old to start giving back. I can start from the beginning. And since 2010, I know we gave away a lot of money from various nonprofits in town, participated in various projects just by volunteering my time. And I have a great team too. They come out to all the Rotary events. We have a corporate membership at the Rotary, and we switch between three of us. And sometimes they do go more than I do because I'm busy with other things. And it never ends. Right? And when you keep inspiring other people, and my definition of a true leader is he inspires other people, infectiously inspiring other people. That's what I want to do through giving, mentoring, and look at the brighter side of themselves. And I'm a firm believer, and we all gifted in certain things in life. And we are here with those tools, and we never get to use them because we are put into a box by the society. You're supposed to go to school, get a job, and you grow up and you have a family. But that's not true. That's the belief that we are born into, at least in our culture. That's what we made into belief. Once I start seeing outside of the box, it's much more than that. It's like, for Christians, they believe in the knowledge tree and everything, and every culture has that kind of beliefs. I call it like knowledge tree. We're all seeds from the knowledge tree, and the bigger the tree, the more shade we can provide. And how many seeds I can provide to the community and to the world, the better the impact I can have.
Yeah, and I think, if we look at the awesome creators I've already chatted with, they're using tools readily available to them, not costing much, and they're giving back to their community in their own way, in their own rights, totally proving what you just shared. It's not always with dollar figures. Mm-hmm. I read earlier, I think it was Luke Allen at Our Town who calls it surplus with a purpose, mm-hmm. right? When you have the opportunity, right, what are you going to do with it? And what purpose are you going to bring to your local community with that surplus? As someone who's been an entrepreneur for many years and has done quite well, what do you think, local Kamloopian young entrepreneurs should kind of keep in mind or have resources in their head to kind of check out when they are struggling to A, find their product market fit, B, find a community, C, get involved with the greater picture, as you might put it?
The most important thing is the drive. Once you have that drive, even though you don't have resources or you're lost somewhere, the universe sends you the message through some other people. You will find these right people at the right time. And there's a lot of material available online. Seth Godin launched Alt MBA, which is very popular. And if you go on Forbes, there's a ton of information. We have Kamloops Innovation Center. They're awesome resource for anybody that has an idea. They can go and talk to them. They can go to community features. They can go to Venture Kamloops. There are a lot of resources available now compared to 8 years ago. I was going to Kelowna. I was going to Vancouver to learn these things. But now anybody has access to these resources. All they have to do is keep that drive and go and see somebody or get an entrepreneur in residence from Kamloops Innovation Center. This is where I'm stuck. And they match you with somebody who can help you with it. So there is no end of resources. It's all about the drive you have and how far you want to take it. Do you want to just build a business in Kamloops, or do you want to take to Vancouver or Toronto? Like when I started ROI, I had a vision. I want to be at this level and how many clients we can manage in 5 years. Yes, it took 7 years to get that amount of clients. But again, I was there, and we're in Hawaii, we're in Texas, we're all like in San Francisco. So how these clients are coming back to me, these are all from the existing clients. We keep on doing that consistent good work with the existing clients, and we don't compromise on any of the services. We want to provide the ROI, return on investment, for all our clients, that attracting other business owners. Okay, my business has grown like 17% year on year for the last 7 years, and these are the marketing partners. I want to refer somebody else to them. And a lot of clients we work with, we build that kind of relationship. We talk the numbers, we talk the nitty-gritty inside the business. I'm struggling with this employee. What can I do with this person? Can I send him to more training? Or what are the strategies that help you? And I believe in continuous education, not just browsing, direct from source. I go to Facebook conference. I went there last year. We got invited this year again. It's all about learning from the source and be the leader in the industry, and how do you use it for your clients. And that's where we differentiate compared to anybody else. And most of it comes from the personal level. Like, I was top 10 in the university, and I had that winning attitude, like being an A player sometimes. How do you offer that within your business, and how do you have the right team that delivers that to your clients?
Let's talk before people even get a team together. How do you go out and find that first sale? What was your experience actually here in town going to get that first sale?
It's a learning experience. When we started, there was nobody building responsive websites. There is no digital marketing agency. Everybody's into print and they build website. That's where it ended. So when I started as niche digital marketing agency, how do you find the talent? So I hired somebody that has the knowledge, and I trained them, and there was a lot of revolving doors because our industry, as you know, is changing so fast, and you have to keep learning, and it's not for everybody. And there were people that left and they found jobs somewhere else. I heard a lot of co-op students from TRU. It allowed me to test, 4 months, 8 months. If they want to come back and work full-time, they can come back and work full-time. Or they want to go back and work in Toronto or Vancouver. These people that I train, they're at bigger companies like SAP, one of the number one software company in the world. So I know our training works, and it's all about keeping them locally. So I changed my strategy a bit. How do I find the right fit that wants to stay in Kamloops? Is their girlfriend going to college here, or they have family members here? There's a lot of factors that I learned over the time by hiring. But hiring the first employee, I had to save about $30,000 to make sure I had enough money that I can sustainably guarantee a job for a person. Because it's always a dilemma. Like, you hire somebody, what happens if I can't pay them next month, right? You never want to be in that situation. And I never took a loan from any bank. A successful business shouldn't have a loan. And there are different levels too. Like, I look at any business have different revenue levels. First $300,000, second $300,000, and next $1 million. You have a different approach to the business and strategy. How you apply that and how you grow the team is totally different at a different level. Once you get to like $1 million a year, I'm not the one hiring anymore. I have the HR team looking at this and say, this is who you like to hire. But you know what I did? Even for the first employee, I work with a HR company in town to hire the first employee. I don't know how to hire an employee. All I know is what are the things that need to be done in this job. And it's the same thing that goes to accounting. I know the numbers, but how do I focus my next 3 years? I did invest that money in learning and also hiring the right people. That makes a huge difference. And this is what a lot of entrepreneurs struggle with. I only have this much money. Do I pay somebody $2,000 to get this looked into? If it is well worth it, you want to invest that money to get that person on board. And that makes a huge difference in the long term, right? Like all our contracts, like that's something else happens in our industry. It's all fluffy and flaky. You're getting a website. Where is it hosted? How it's built? Is it mine? Who owns the domain name? There's a lot of legalities. I hired a lawyer to put together a 12-page contract that protects both parties. And we did that like back in 2011. All we do is additional disclaimers now. We still use that today. It protects both parties, and it's about being transparent and let the client, this is what you're offering, this is the value you're getting, and this is how much your money you're paying. And by all means, like, we're not the cheapest agency. We don't do $50 websites. It's about what is the return that it can offer, and what is that we're supporting them with, and how the client can be the leader in the industry. Right? So there's a lot of things that factors into what we offer. And we do get inquiries from businesses, so can you do logos or branding for our company? And I say, I'm sorry, we know what it is, but we're not experts. But these are the 3 local companies that you can work with to build that, and then we can offer you the rest of the services. So those partnerships work really well as well, because it's all about collaborating. And I used to say this to other business owners when we ran into, they're like, Canvas is too saturated. You can't run a business here. It's too small. And I'm from an agency background and bigger clients. I was like, is it what they're saying is real, or they just don't want me to do what I want to do? And I used to tell them, the pie is big enough that we all can share. And we are getting into a niche. Like, you're doing apple pie, somebody is doing blueberry pie, and we're doing a combination of cinnamon apple blueberry pie, which is better. Like, I'm talking about the innovation side of the things. Mm-hmm. And that made a big difference, like how I build the technology and how I brought people on board. And it all goes back to the right team. And 90% of the credit goes to the team.
Yeah, and it's not just the team, it's the culture that surrounds the team, that they're all, I have your back, you have mine. And it's just an ecosystem itself that kind of self-sustains.
Yeah, and it doesn't come easily. There's a book called Strength Finder 2.0. I recommend to any entrepreneur that wants to learn about how to manage the teams. You got to recognize the person's strength. I had some employees in a different role that they don't like it, and that's the reason they quit. But they're a perfect candidate for a different role, but I don't have that role existed in my company at that time. So finding their strengths, finding their motivation, and I always treat all my employees like how I like to be treated. They have a complete freedom, they have complete trust, they can make decisions. All I look at is, when they ask me, it looks good, or what do you think that we can improve upon? How can you be innovative, right?
It's really funny you say that, because I'm having my own struggles where I'm working in that, where my skill set is wildly different than my coworker's skill set who shares the same role as me, and trying to figure out where that falls and that we all succeed and whatnot, and I'm the one who's unfortunately right now struggling to actually be part of the team, mm-hmm. which is tough for me to honestly admit, and reminds me I have to write my boss an email about that. That was due today. But it's again going back to the whole idea of culture, collaboration, team, and making sure people want to show up for work. And it's incredibly rewarding. But it's also, I needed that ego check, and I'm glad you kind of said that.
It's about being realistic about what you want to do in your career, right? And I used to see career and life as 2 different things. You build your career and you have a job, and then your life goes on. But the career plays a very important role in life. When you're growing your family to you're building a business, it pretty much takes all your time away from you. And we don't have a lot of time. And I had some employees, they want to work with me in the business. They're awesome people, but it's not the right role for them. And I was honest with them. Yes, there were some people that were upset about it, but I had to be realistic and tell them up front, you're a great manager, but the role that you're applying to this is not right fit for you. Yes, we are friends, but like that, I can't use that to hire you into that role, right?
It's just all about product market fit.
Yeah, and we I want my employees to be happy what the role they are in, and they're growing with the company, and we are having fun. And every project that we work with is so unique, and we have so much fun doing it. It doesn't feel like work, and this is where everybody's passion translates into a product. And when the site goes live, when the marketing campaigns results show up, we look at it, yes, something like a pat on our back and say, we did a good job. We made a difference here. What's next, right? The drive never disappears when you're in the right career.
Totally. I totally understand. Like, I love my job, and the right project, right, just, it clicks, and no matter of how little sleep I get or much sleep, or if I'm working every day, it doesn't matter, because you see the end goal and you just want to drive towards it. And as someone who's obviously had a lot of projects, what do you do to bring that drive level back up when you find yourself lacking? Because I know I will find it soon. I'll end up in the depths of despair and probably get a little bit depressed, because I know that happens. What do you do?
It does. I mean, there are occasions where there are some things delayed because I'm away and waiting for my approval. Just hit the pub. Okay.
Doesn't work for me. We had that conversation, but I see what you mean, right? You go to your stress relief.
Yes. Every one of us have different motivators drive, right? It's just not the work. It's not the 9 to 5. There are other things that we like to do. The team building, again, is an important factor, right? And what do you really need to recognize what ticks them. And, if you have done Dale Carnegie Success Principles, the 9 principles, they're very handy. The book from Napoleon Hill, Win Friends and Influence People. They're awesome.
Which is free, by the way. It is free book. You do not have to pay for it. It's all over the internet for free.
Yeah, and there are videos too. You can go on YouTube and watch them as well. You learn so many things. You got to understand from their perspective why there is an objection. And once you know the objection, you just know how to handle it for better. And as soon as that's addressed, you're good. You have that bond back. And the drive always happens when we do things together. We go out and volunteer at the Rotary or golf fundraiser, and I take them out for different events. And I want to involve the families, not just us. Bring your spouse. Let's get together, right? There's something I haven't done in a long time, probably in 4 years. I used to bring staff to my house. I do barbecue. It's nothing to do with the work at all. It's just about allow them. I know how much difference they're making in the company and how it's translating into clients' business. And that essentially builds the confidence in everybody. And every employee that I hired, they weren't in that profession. They're not working for a marketing agency. But I recognize there are certain skills that can be translated into a new job, a new role. And providing that right training made a big difference.
Awesome. Well, I talked about how I wanted to keep this short, but you had just had too much awesome stuff to share. What is 3 things you'd like to share with the young entrepreneur community here in Kamloops to wrap up this podcast? What are three quick things?
Keep learning, keep finding mentors, and take time to relax. And a lot of the ideas that came through me about the business or some issues, whatever it is, it comes through when you are doing something else. It's I love cooking. I love spending time with my kids. I go for hiking. I go kayaking. These are all the things that fills your soul. When your soul is full, your subconscious will start working on these problems. And then you wake up one day morning, I have a solution for this.
Totally. I would say probably 70% of the solutions I have to problems come when I'm walking my dog.
Yeah.
And I leave work and I'm in a mood. Let's be honest. And then 2 hours later, the boss gets a text. This is what we should do.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm walking the dog.
Yeah, totally. one important thing is a lot of us gets attached to the idea and the business itself, and we forget to take care of ourselves and the families. It happened with me. I'm a perfect example. There are some prices to be paid for that. But where you really want to get attached to is to the why. Why are you doing that? Is it growing the business, making more money? And by the way, making more money is never the primary thing. Yes, you can be rich, but you're not going to be happy.
No, totally. And for me, it's solving a problem that I recognize that I felt disconnected to the community. So I wanted to figure that out. And it's brought me so many amazing conversations. And the byproduct is maybe somewhere down the line, it could support my family.
Yeah.
And, I hope I can one day call you, or maybe start to say call you a mentor. I think that would be really cool if you would take that title. I'll put it in my LinkedIn. Mentee of.
I pick I used to at least have one student a week. Spend an hour with them, their MBA or computer science. I get messages on my LinkedIn and Instagram. Go with them and look at what they are trying to do. Now I got busy. I do once a month. But they all have like awesome ideas, different generation, different technologies. And all I want to do is just inspire them somehow. They take that seed and take some wet and plant it and grows a bigger tree again.
Absolutely. And if people who are listening aren't comfortable reaching out online, which, I'm totally comfortable, which is how I built what I've built so far. There's really, really great mixers. You're part of Rotary. I'm part of the Gen Next group, which is the young entrepreneurs here in town. Get out, meet some people in person. Like, I can't stress that enough. Communities built in person. Businesses are built one-to-one.
Yeah, it's all about the networking and collaboration. If anybody needs like some time, I'm stuck here and I need to brainstorm something, I'm up for it. And this is what happens, like what I have seen. Most of the students are shy, or you don't want to share that information with anybody, or the fear of being judged. Let that fear go, right? And once the fear is away and you can be comfortable talking about this, and never think that it's your own idea and you're the only one person working on this. At any given time, multiple people might be working on this, but always trust that your product is bigger and better and you're going to make a difference.
Totally.
Right?
Totally. We all need an ego check, myself included. And when it comes, it's a swift kick to the balls and it topples you down pretty quick. But thank you, Krishna, for agreeing to have coffee with me. I really appreciate it. Reach out to Krishna if you have a question. He's a busy guy. He'll get back to you if he can. But he's very good at getting back to people. Check out ROI Media Works. I'm very confident you probably see some of his work around town. You just didn't know it. And I think that's the beauty of being successful is you're making things and people don't always know it's about you. It's not always about having your name tied to things. And so
no, it's never about that. It's just about the happy faces, right? Like, I'm sharing this with you today and I won't remember a single word that I talked to you just now. But again, there was something that came out of me and I'm passionate about sharing this with other people. And when you spend an hour with one person, the person might have read like 30 or 40 books. You learn so much faster and quicker than going home and trying to read these 30 books.
Totally.
Right? So anybody can shoot me an email on LinkedIn or Instagram. I get a ton of messages on Instagram all the time.
Instagram's a fantastic tool.
Yep.
Reach out to me as well. I'm always looking for collaborators. My hope for this podcast is to honestly write myself out of it.
Yeah.
At some point to just have it a community-based radio platform, essentially. I think that would be really awesome, and because it always takes a community. It takes a community to build a business. And thank you once again for meeting me, Krishna. We're at the 30-minute mark, and my battery's going to die. And
Thanks, Nevin.
Cheers.
We can talk all day, right?
Oh, it will never stop. All right, so I'm here at Reservoir Coffee with Krishna. We tried to meet up last week at a Starbucks.